Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. If you've never seen my hands or heard my voice before, I am the Tarot Dragon, and on my channel I like to do tarot card readings whenever I feel called to do them. So today's reading is very special and very near and dear to my heart because I think it's such an important topic. We're going to be looking at what is blocking you from feeling and experiencing happiness in your life. So this is a timeless reading. Whenever you're finding this, it is when you are meant to hear it. If you're seeing this a year after I've posted it, it may still resonate with you. Just remember to only take the messages that do resonate. Please don't try to force anything. So for today's reading, there are 3 different piles for you to choose from. The first pile is the Guardian of the Night Tarot, and I'm going to break the deck so you can see one card from it, so you can see if you vibe with the imagery on the back of the deck, or the back of the card, I suppose. So let's break it here. We have Justice. So maybe Libra could be a placement of yours. We have a number 11 here. That could be a significant number. Really pretty flowers. We also have a bat here. Really exposing itself to us. It's a little promiscuous. For pile 2, we have the Antique Anatomy Tarot. And for you, we have the 5 of Wands. Oh my gosh, those look like the same flowers on that plant. So there we go. 5 of Wands. And for pile 3, we have the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. And for you, we have the Devil. So this is Capricorn energy. Interesting. So once you've picked your pile or piles, you are welcome to scroll down to the description box where I will have all of the timestamps listed for you. And you can click on the timestamp and it'll take you straight to your reading. So I'm so excited to get into it. And yes, that is all. Okay, bye. Hi pile 1 and welcome to your reading. If you chose the Guardian of the Night Tarot, then you are in the right place. So in this reading, again, we're going to be looking at what is blocking your happiness. And to do this, we are going to look at tarot cards and oracle cards, plus some extra cards at the end of the reading for some like self-care practices. And hopefully this brings you guidance and clarity. So fun fact, I actually had already filmed your reading, but by the time I finished it, I just did not feel like I did you guys justice. Like it just, I don't know, something about it just didn't feel right. I felt like I wasn't really getting the message across. So I still have your oracle cards, but I'm going to pull more, a new set of tarot cards and just see how this plays out. Cause it just didn't feel like, it didn't feel right. So, yeah. So this is your new reading. But all right. So Spirit, what is blocking pile 1 from experiencing happiness and joy? What is blocking pile 1 from feeling happiness? We have the Magician. So that is associated with the planet Mercury. Gemini and Virgo placements could be significant. What else, Spirit? What is blocking pile 1 from feeling happiness? Okay, the cards are acting crazy. What is blocking pile 1 from feeling happiness? 3 of Pentacles. What is blocking pile 1 from feeling happiness? Oh my. I'm putting that one back actually. It didn't come out correctly. What is blocking pile 1 from feeling happiness, Spirit? 5 of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. A lot of Earth. And the 4 of Cups. Okay. Now, let's look at your, let's look at your oracle cards. To start, we have Wisdom in play. Our intuition knows more than we do. When all seems ended. Happy family. The 7th chakra, Archangel Uriel. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. Entrapment. And aloha healing. Okay. Are they all in the frame? Let me just take a quick look, because last time it was really not looking good. Okay. It's good enough. Okay. Pile 1. What is blocking your happiness? I'm just taking a look at these cards. Yeah, it's a similar message. I mean, the oracles are the same, but with the tarot, I'm getting a similar message, but slightly different. Yeah, there's so much anxiety about, well, not really. Well, yeah, sure. Maybe we'll just say anxiety for now. I feel like you experience a lot of anxiety about and kind of like nervousness and fear around accepting what no longer needs to be a part of your life and welcoming in the new. I feel like you have mentally decided and kind of like internally you understand that there are some things that you've outgrown, probably lessons and ideas and behaviors that are really common in your family that don't really make sense to you anymore and that you feel like might actually be causing more harm than good. But because everybody around you does it, and maybe to the point where it's even a cultural practice or like a family tradition, perhaps something like that, you don't know if you're wrong to say that this doesn't work for you. Like, you don't want to offend the people around you, but I think you are at this point where you want to take a risk and you want to move on and try something else because you don't feel fulfilled right now. You feel quite empty, actually. You feel quite alone. But you don't want to do this by yourself because you're afraid that if you take this chance, it's not going to work out for you. For some of you, the kind of change that you're wanting to make, you might know for a fact that it's going to take a long time. This reminds me of avocados. I don't think these are avocados. They look like cocoons also, but for some reason they look like an avocado, like when you open it up and take off the skin. And I'm pretty sure avocado trees take like 13 years to completely bloom. I could have made that up, but I swear I read that somewhere and I was so upset because I love avocados and I would love to grow them, but my God, do they take a long time, because avocados are expensive, But yeah, there's this feeling where a lot has become illuminated to you either recently or maybe in the past few years, past few months. Time is different for everybody. But you've gained a lot of awareness around who you are and what works for you in your life. What kind of habits make sense for you? What kind of outlets of expression make sense for you? And you're not a fan anymore of how things are processed in your family. I feel like in particular, you might feel like the way your family deals with pain or anger or sadness or grief, you might feel like it actually perpetuates the problem and creates more pain instead of releasing it. I'm like, the phrase setting yourself up for failure? That could be something you notice in your family a lot. And family could be like your immediate family, maybe like your extended family as well. It'll be different for everybody. But I almost feel like you're just stuck at your roots. Like you keep growing to a certain point and you keep stopping there. And I think you've been at the same place for a while now in terms of your growth and in terms of your healing. And the reason why is because although your awareness has expanded a lot, I feel like the way that you're actually living your life is very similar to how you were raised. But the way that you were raised, you are now aware of how it's not healthy anymore. But because your actions haven't aligned with your new thoughts, with your new awareness, with your new enlightenment, your new clarity, your life seems to be stagnant, right? Because the magician tells me that your thoughts and your perspective has definitely evolved. There's a lot of like, the faces on a lot of these cards are so open, right? Like they're either, this card is all about intuition and wisdom. This is a card about, this is the crown chakra, by the way, if I didn't say it. This is all about not just intuition, but like connecting with the universe, connecting with universal consciousness, with other beings, channeling. It's the energy that connects us all to source, like to the main source of energy that exists in the universe, if you believe in that, of course. If not, then you can disregard that message. But it's this challenging thing where you feel like you're almost leaving people behind if you change your life, if you start doing things differently than your family. It's like there's so many happy memories here and you probably are really close with your family. Even if there's a lot of pain here, you might have the kind of family where it's like your pain brings you closer together. But I guess the biggest problem for your perspective is that the way we're dealing with our pain is not helping. That's the thing that you're having to grapple with. And it's really hard to work together and to support one another and to grow if this is the way. Oh, these are definitely cocoons because there's a little caterpillar down here. But no butterflies. Yeah. Yeah, no butterflies. Nowhere in this reading. There's no butterflies. Usually butterflies are everywhere in tarot or in oracle cards. Like, I don't see a single one. Would you look at that? Not a single one. Because these are like fireflies. Wow. Yeah, that just kind of confirms it. Like, the growth is halted. And it's really a shame because I feel like your family maybe has gone through a lot collectively, maybe individually. There's been a lot. Like, some people just go through a lot in life, and it's really tragic and unfortunate because it's hard to grow. Sometimes it's easier to just shove things down or just to, like, keep going, don't focus on how much it hurts, just keep moving on. But I think you recognize that you can't keep living life like this and you want to change, but you don't want to leave people behind. But one thing that the Break the Chain card talks about is how no matter how much you try, you can't actually change anybody else. But have faith in the fact that if you change and people see the positive growth in your life and they see how much happier you are, they are likely to change with you. But I think this might be one of those things where it's like everybody just keeps doing the same thing because nobody else is doing it differently. Like, maybe, for example, like, you might have like, maybe your family is really against going to therapy because they think it doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't, right? But perhaps you want to go, and maybe you have been going and it's really working for you. If you can communicate that with your family, maybe they'll change their mind about therapy. Maybe they'll be open to it. Or maybe, like, you have a family where when things get really rough, people start yelling at one another, not really listening to one another, just kind of reacting and having really intense conversations. Not even really conversations, more like fights. Perhaps if you change the way that you communicate, or if you set a boundary and say, like, if you continue to yell at me, I'm going to have to step away. Or if you say something like, hey, I feel like I'm getting really angry and getting really heated, I'm going to take a second to cool off and then I'll come back and finish this conversation. That you never know how that might inspire someone else in your circle or in your family. Because what I feel like here is I feel like the way that the people around you cope used to work really well for you, but now you've gotten to a point where it's like, this, I'm just staying stagnant. I need to move past this. And you want to move past this because mentally you have moved past it, but physically, in terms of your actual actions, you haven't moved past it. And that's what's hard. And I think you want to grow because it's going to bring you happiness. You'll be happier if you change the way that you're living. But it's hard because, again, there's so much attached to that. But I think one thing you should consider is, with this Wisdom and Play card, sometimes when we talk about growth, we only talk about it, and healing, we only talk about it in terms of, like, the shadow work, the journaling, the meditation, the therapy. But it's also going out and having fun, right? Because a lot of us are dealt really unfortunate cards in life, and we have to go through a lot of pain and trauma. Well, we don't have to, right? It's not like we're forced to, but we go through it, basically, right? It's like because of our circumstances, the people we meet, because of maybe mental health. Like, there's a lot of things that contribute, but we end up going through some really crappy, terrible things. And sometimes having fun is like a privilege. Like, it's a privilege to go out and spend money on a meal at a fancy restaurant just because you can. Not everybody has the money to spend on going to a movie or going to get a meal out somewhere. Not everybody has money to spend on tarot cards or, on things that you're buying just for fun. Like, not everybody has that financial privilege. Not everybody has the time to do that, and so it's like, it's not always easy or available. And so I feel like doing that, like, if you can, going out and having fun, even if you don't spend money, even if you just kind of go out there and do something that's fun for you, whether it's like going outside and playing a game or like playing hide and seek, I don't know, it depends, I don't know, whatever you like to do for fun, you might find that it's actually really liberating. And through having fun and when your guard is down, you might, like, maybe going to the beach. I mean, where I live right now, it's kind of hot. Well, it's not kind of hot. It is hot. It is summer. Yes, it is hot as hell. You might really enjoy going to the beach and having fun, playing volleyball, I don't know, whatever you like, going swimming. I feel like you will find and experience a lot of joy, because perhaps, like, there's this feeling of you're seeing healing only from, like, the really tough side of it, and you're forgetting that healing is also going out and having fun, living your life, enjoying time with your loved ones, that could actually bring you a lot of joy and a lot of happiness, right? Because this reading is about what's blocking you from happiness. And I think there's two main things that are blocking you. For one, it's all of the coping mechanisms and responses to pain, responses to grief that you have learned from your family and your like culture, maybe even, that are limiting you. They used to work for you at some point. They were really, really helpful, but now you've grown past that. And so you're not gaining anything from it. In fact, it's just halting you in your growth. I think the other thing though, is that when it comes to healing as a whole, you're only seeing the really hard labor part of it, you know, where you're sitting there for hours journaling and crying, where you're isolated, where you're having to make a lot of difficult decisions. Healing is also letting yourself sleep early, you know, like enjoying life, having fun, laughing, resting. Healing is many things. It looks like many different things. It's not just all pain and sadness. It's also fun and joy. So I feel like for you, another like mental shift that needs to occur is letting yourself have fun, letting yourself enjoy life, even if life isn't perfect right now. Because you work super hard, like really, really hard. And I think you're trying to figure out where is the joy, where is my happiness, but your guides are being like, go out and create it, like go out and have fun, you know. And please don't like try too hard thinking like, well, what does that mean, have fun? Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you like to do? You know, some people love going out. You know what I love to do? Let me tell you. One thing I like hanging out by myself. I really do. One thing I literally will never get old for me is like going and buying Starbucks, like, and my favorite drink, which is hell expensive nowadays because Starbucks is playing games with their prices, but like going, getting my favorite latte and like driving around, listening to music, wearing an outfit that is comfortable but cute, to me cute, and sometimes that means that the outfit's kind of funky, kind of weird, like people might stare and be like, what's wrong with her? But to me, I love it. It's usually very colorful, very comfortable. Oh my gosh. And then I'll go like shopping, but low-key just window shopping. So I'll go to like a store where they sell tarot cards, for example, but I won't buy everything that I like. I'll just buy like what I really want, or I just go and look. And I'm just kind of like in my own vibe. I just love like looking at things and just, or I love going on walks at really beautiful gardens. Like whatever is fun. It doesn't have to be what someone else thinks is fun. Like whatever sounds interesting to you. Maybe it's a movie marathon. Maybe it's going out and like cooking something, like buying the ingredients to cook something fun at your house. Like it could be anything, whatever is fun for you, because you're feeling numbed out by this like tunnel vision you have toward fixing your life, but you're forgetting to go and experience it. Like you might not understand how to fix the ancestral stuff or the stuff within your family here, but part of how you change patterns in your family is by you changing, because you are a member of your family, right? It's kind of like when people say like, how am I supposed to, like if you're a part of your family, when you're changing, you are changing the family because you're a part of it, you know what I mean? And when you grow and people see that the things you're doing are actually leading to more happiness, they might feel inclined to grow too. So I feel like right now, what's blocking you, well, we talked about what's blocking you, and I think your advice, go out there and enjoy life. And this is a great segue into the next section where we're going to look at some like self-care practices that might be of use to you. So for pile one, these are big ass cards. What self-care practices might be really helpful for pile one? Oh my goodness. I don't know how I was shuffling these before, but they're hard to do now. What self-care practices might be really useful for pile one? Don't make fun of me. If you're actually, I hope you're laughing. I hope you're laughing at this. We have take a 3-hour break from social media. Wow. You know, as I read this though, for some of you, social media might be helpful if that's how you have fun. But for those of you who have been kind of scrolling endlessly, maybe becoming kind of numb through social media, take a little break and go do something else, you know? And here's the thing, 3 hours on social media feels like 5 minutes. So be careful with how much time you're spending on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Maybe go out and do something fun instead of, or you can stay in and do something fun rather than like spending that time on your phone. Because when you're on your phone, time goes by so fast. We also have feel your heartbeat and take some deep breaths to calm yourself. This would be a really good grounding practice as well if you're starting to feel really anxious. What else, Spirit? What else would you say? These two? We have do something creative that absorbs your attention. Yeah, I think getting lost in a really fun task or a really fun thing would be really, really good for you. So one thing that I can get lost in really easily is one, like listening to music and going for a long walk, but also doing puzzles, like I lose myself, or really good movies that I love, like childhood favorite movies, like The Chronicles of Narnia or something. If you don't know what that is, it's a good movie. We have listen to how you speak to yourself, use kind words. Let's get one more. Oh my, let's get one more, Spirit. What other self-care practice would be really good for pile 1 to make them experience more happiness? Oh my, more happiness, more joy. What else would you recommend to pile 1? Make a list of 3 things that worry you, but that you realize you cannot control. This might actually be super, super helpful because, like I said, you are spending a lot of time trying to figure out how to fix what's wrong in your life. And sometimes you can't force the awareness to come through. It will come through naturally. And actually, this card here talks about how you can gain wisdom about your issues while you're having fun, while you take your mind off of it, right? You might be focusing so hard on what the solutions are that you're completely ignoring like the main point of what you could learn from it sometimes. So I feel like write down the 3 things that worry you the most, that you can't do anything about right now, that you can't control, and then just leave it alone, and then do something else. Do something that absorbs your attention, or feel your heart beat to calm yourself down, because the solutions to your problems will come through for you. You might just need to give yourself a break because you're working quite hard and you will figure this out for yourself, but you deserve to have happiness, okay? And happiness is really good medicine. Sometimes having a day or a moment where you're experiencing true joy makes you realize just how miserable other people or other things make you feel. Because when you're around those toxic situations so much, you become so absorbed in them that you don't realize how much it's draining you. But then when you go out and have fun, you're like, oh my God, this is literally like so far off from what I was experiencing like 10 minutes ago when I was with this other person. So maybe there's something wrong here, right? Yeah, I don't know if this is significant, but on the back of the deck, we have read poetry or a novel for 30 minutes. Maybe that's something that'll absorb your attention. Maybe it's a reading. So yeah, pile 1, I'm going to be leaving your reading here. I'm so happy I filmed this a second time because this message felt so much more natural. So I hope that you gained something from this, or that it brought you some clarity or comfort or guidance. I wish you the best of luck in this journey. I hope that you do find some happiness soon and you experience some fun, because you definitely deserve it. And I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye. Hi, pile 2, and welcome to your reading. If you chose the Antique Anatomy Tarot, then this is going to be your reading all about what is blocking you from your happiness. So I first want to say thank you so much for being here during this reading and for trusting me with sharing and channeling such an important message for you all. It's so important that we all find ways to experience happiness and joy in our lives, and I want you to be able to experience the absolute most happiness possible. So let's take a look at what is blocking you from your happiness. So I'm going to first start off by pulling 5 tarot cards, and then we'll look at your oracle cards to see what it is that's blocking you. And then we'll take a look at some self-care cards to see what kind of self-care practices you can add into your life to bring you some more peace and happiness. So Spirit, what is blocking pile 2 from feeling and experiencing happiness? 5 of Wands. What is blocking pile 2 from feeling and experiencing happiness? What is blocking pile 2? Ace of Cups. What is blocking pile 2 from feeling and experiencing happiness? Knight of Pentacles. The Lovers. The Lovers. What is blocking pile 2? The Nine of Cups. Wow, you actually have some really beautiful cards here. I want to say with the Lovers, we have the sign of Gemini present, so that could be a placement of yours, a significant placement. It doesn't have to be, but it might be. Okay, now let's look at your oracle cards now. The sign of Taurus is coming through really strongly. I get like an earthy feeling from this collective. It could be the brown here, but it makes me feel like very earthy, which I love. I'm also a Taurus too, so if you're a Taurus, hello, we're twins. So we also have sharing. There is giving and receiving and giving. Am I crazy, or does this kind of look like Taylor Swift? I don't know if that's just me, but I see Taylor Swift in that card. Now I'm hearing the song Karma. I love that song. Okay, we have Into Your Arms. We have the first chakra, Archangel Michael. This is the root chakra. We have dance with life, do something to change your energy. We have strange Valentine, love is strange. And we have temptation. Okay. Pile 2, what is blocking you from your happiness? Well, for one, I do think that for you at this time, happiness is closely tied in with love and relationships. And I say relationships loosely, so this could be friends, romance, family, connecting with human beings, with people. That's what I'm feeling here for you. That's what happiness means for you at this time. You feel, you might have Cancer placements too, but I think you feel the Hermit. So perhaps Virgo is significant. Wheel of Fortune, so maybe Sagittarius or Pisces. Okay, I don't know, I felt like I wanted to do that. They don't have to be significant placements, but they might be for this collective. But I definitely think that for you, like I said, yeah, relationships are important. But what I feel though is that in your heart, you might be from that pile. What I think it was the water sign reading where I did will your wish come true? Because as I'm seeing this Nine of Cups here, the Lovers, Ace of Cups, I think you really wish to have more beautiful and reciprocal relationships. I think you really want friends, family, a partner that give as much as they take, that give to you as much as they take from you, and a connection where you can give as much as you receive. But here's the thing, I think you struggle because in your current life, like currently with your relationships, it seems like the people you're with don't really give and receive in the same way. So maybe you're somebody like you have different love languages. Like it's like you might be the kind of person who really like spending quality time with somebody, but maybe your friends would rather receive gifts from you. But perhaps you struggled with your money for a long time, and so it was hard to be able to give gifts. But now I think you could be in a better place financially, so you're able to give them the gifts that they're wanting, being able to spend money on them because that's how they receive love, but they're still unable to give you the quality time and affection that you desire. It seems that there's just an imbalance in how love is given and received here between you and the people in your life. And I think you're constantly tempted to just kind of go off on people or to maybe cut people off. You might be the kind of person where you get triggered very easily in relationships because feeling vulnerable, like you feel vulnerability so strongly. Some people are very comfortable being vulnerable with others, but for you, being vulnerable feels so exposing. And so when you're vulnerable with someone and you ask for what you need and then they don't give it to you, there's this urge that you have where you just want to leave, you know? And I think you might call this pettiness. Like you might tell people like, yeah, I'm petty, like I'm super petty. But I think beneath that is actually just a desire to feel cared for and loved. Because you have a lot of love to give. And I think you've really worked on yourself so you could get to a point where you could give love, where you could show people love from the way that they like to receive it. You know what I mean? But it seems like it's not being reciprocated. And that's really blocking your happiness. This Lovers and this Nine of Cups are right next to each other. And I think that more than anything, you just want to feel safe in your connections, but it's hard to feel safe when you feel like there's not equality in the connection, you know, when there's not a reciprocated exchange of love and care. But at the same time, you're so loyal, so dedicated, so committed to the people that you love. For you, it's like, maybe I can sacrifice my needs a little bit longer. Maybe I'm not ready to let go yet. Maybe I can just give myself love for now and I don't have to ask for it from them. You might also struggle with that whole, like, you can't love others until you love yourself. You might try to hold on to that belief very strongly. But here's the thing is like, yes, you should be able to give yourself love. Absolutely. Self-love is chef's kiss, but so is love from other people. And in fact, the reality is that you'll never be able to love yourself completely. Well, I'm not going to say that you can't, but it's really hard to get to that point. And while you're on that journey, you can still give and receive love too. You don't have to wait until you reach some finish line before you can receive love. In case you needed to hear that today, there is your reminder. And it's okay for you to want love, okay? It doesn't make you immature. It doesn't make you irresponsible or like childish. It's very human and very normal to want connections. You're not being like a bad friend or a bad partner by telling somebody, hey, this is how I like to receive love. This is how I like to feel cared for. because you're somebody who at your very core will show up for people no matter what, and you just want people to show up for you in the same way. Let me see if these cards are even in frame correctly. Yeah, it's good enough. Okay. Yeah, it seems like there's definitely some miscommunication here about what love is and how it feels right to be shared between you and your friends. And it's like to the point where there could be really heated arguments about this, you know? And it's like you're really wanting the dynamic to change, but the people around you aren't willing to change. And it's stressing you out because you're thinking like, okay, I just want to reignite passion here. I want to reignite the love here. I don't want to fight. I don't want to feel like we're at odds with one another. But I also recognize that this is not working for me. And so you're having to wonder, like, is it the right thing to do for myself and for my own health, for my own life, and my own future to keep feeding into these connections when they're not giving me what I need? Or should I look elsewhere? And with this Into Your Arms card, I do want to say that, like, no matter how many friends you have right now, no matter what your relationships are like right now, there are still other people you can meet and befriend. And in fact, sometimes there are people that we are meant to meet in this lifetime. And there are other people you have not met yet that you will meet. And something about the way this bird is flying and the way that this Dance with Life card, the way that their dresses are moving, makes me kind of feel like it might be when you step away from these connections that you meet some really awesome people. That doesn't mean you have to cut these people off, unless for some of you that's something you've already wanted to do, then, you know, you do what you need to do. But I'm not saying that you need to cut them off. That's not really the message coming through here, but rather I think take some time away. If you feel like you're not being loved here, then maybe it's time to, you know, ask your coworker if they want to go hang out after work, or ask your classmate if they want to go get lunch with you. Do something to kind of pull you out of this, because I feel like sometimes we forget or we don't really realize how poorly we're being treated, or how normal our needs are, or how awesome we are until we step out of the situation that we're in. Because then when we go out and we go have fun and we talk to people who actually want to hear what we have to say, we realize like the liberation we feel, the love we feel is so like, whoa, that you don't even realize how dark things were before. It's making me think of like, imagine you were in a house, right? And you closed all the blinds, you shut the windows, there was no sunlight pouring in, and let's say you stayed in that house for like months, like 3 months. And at this point, you forgot what the sun was like. And like you forgot how bright it was outside. And let's say in this house, you don't have electricity. All you have is like a few candles. And you would light candles, you know, walk from the living room to the bathroom to the kitchen, but you didn't have like bright lights, and you definitely didn't have sunlight. And then one day, somebody knocks on your door and they're like, hey, do you want to go on a walk with me? And you're like, what the fuck? Okay. You go on a walk with them and you're outside and you're like, oh my God, the sun is so bright. I can see everything. I don't have to, you know, strain my hand carrying this candle around. The sun is right there. It's so bright. Oh my God, the sun. Wow. The sun in tarot actually represents happiness. Like just complete happiness. So yeah, maybe you need more sunlight too. But anyway, yeah, it's like you maybe have forgotten just how liberating and awesome connections can feel, because the ones that you're in are really difficult. Even in this card, both of these cards, we have this human and then this weird walrus looking thing. We have this human and then this like ghost. I feel like both of these connections, or not both of, well, maybe there's 2 connections here that are significant for you. But I feel like the connections that you're in, maybe it's like you don't want to give up on them because you love these people. And if you don't want to give up, then don't give up, right? It's okay if like sometimes relationships are just in a rough patch, and it doesn't mean that it has to end. Because what I'm feeling here, of course, the specifics will be different for all of you, but these connections, or the ones that I'm seeing here, kind of seem like there's miscommunication and people aren't on the same page, and you simply give and receive love in different ways. But that doesn't always mean it's a bad thing, right? You're just 2 different kinds of people. But if they can learn how to give you what you need, and you can learn to give them what they need, then the balance will still exist. You're just giving and taking in different ways, right? The issue right now is that you're giving and they're not giving you anything. Or they're giving you stuff, but not what you need, right? And I feel like you've actually changed a lot. I think you've transformed in order to be able to share with them the kind of love that they need, specifically in the form of material things, and being responsible, being able to like give them gifts or do them favors. But it seems like for you, they're not able to give you the emotional satisfaction you're looking for. Okay. Anything else before we move on to the self-care card, Spirit? The Devil card is popping up into my mind as well. There's something about the fact that there's food here being shared. We have the root chakra. We have this temptation card. It's making me think of like the very kind of like our basic needs, but it's making me think of how our perception of those needs can become distorted. Maybe you should make a list of like 2 different lists. One is what you absolutely need from a relationship. Like if these needs are not met in a connection, if they're not able to offer you these things, then it can't work. Like you need that list of like what is the bare minimum, and then make a list of the things that aren't like super necessary, but they would really be nice. So maybe for you, you absolutely need somebody who, I don't know, doesn't yell at you when you're in an argument. That's like a non-negotiable. Like you cannot you cannot be yelling at me, cussing me out when we're in an argument. Or maybe you really need to be with somebody who has a job, because like the kind of future you're trying to build, like you need someone who is able to support themselves, or whatever it might be, right? Or maybe you can't be with somebody who drinks a lot, because maybe you're somebody who has recently gotten sober or something like that, right? You need to make a list of what it is that you absolutely need in a connection, and then make a list of what you want, because I feel like you, in your mind, you just have all these kind of things that you would like from a connection, but even when people don't give you what you need, you still let them stay. And again, I'm not saying you're wrong for that. I just want you to consider how it is you might be self-sacrificing in these connections, because you deserve love. You deserve somebody who's going to meet you at where you're at and give you what you need the same way you give them what they need. And the fact that you were able to transform and change so that you can be a better friend or a better partner or a better family member to the people in your life means that they have the ability to change too, okay? So let's see what self-care practices might be beneficial for you at this time. Spirit, what self-care practices would be beneficial for pile 2? What could bring them more happiness and more joy at the time that they're finding this reading? So identify what you are feeling without judgment. Isn't there supposed to be an E here? I don't know. Yeah, identify what you're feeling without judgment. Absolutely. Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful for you, because, for example, if you're feeling like your needs aren't being met, if you feel neglected, for example, if you feel like if you don't feel loved, identify that, but don't be like, oh, but that's bad. Like, that means I'm such a bad friend. I'm being so ungrateful. No. Hold on. You can say, oh, okay, I feel unloved and I feel ungrateful, but don't judge yourself for feeling unloved. You could judge yourself later on. You could judge the feeling, but I think the problem is that you judge yourself way too soon, to the point where you won't even let yourself just genuinely identify what it is that you feel within these connections. You're not a bad person for having problems. You're not a bad person for wanting the dynamic in a connection to change. Because let me tell you, you changed for them because they did not like how you were showing them love, but they're not changing for you, and that's the current issue. That's what's blocking you from your happiness. What else do we have? Take time for an evening skincare routine. Maybe at night is when you get particularly stressed. And it might be really helpful for you to have some kind of wind down routine. Perhaps this could also just be referencing the fact that maybe your physical health has been neglected recently. What else could pile 2 do to bring them more happiness? Treat yourself to a day at the spa. Okay, interesting. Very, very, this is so Taurus. So maybe you are a Taurus or have significant Taurus placements. What else can pile 2 do? We have this card. Listen to an inspiring podcast. A podcast that I've been loving recently, if you want my recommendation. Not that you asked, but in case you would like to know. Leo Skepi has a podcast called Aware and Aggravated. Iconic. It's really, really, really good. It's literally incredible. He has a ton of episodes on YouTube, on Spotify, I think also on Apple Music. So yeah, you should totally check that out if it resonates with you. Let's get one more card. Wow, that one jumped out. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, in for 4, out for 6. Yes. You might want to check out Chloe Taylor's podcast as well. If you don't know who that is, she is a tarot reader, and also she has a podcast called Divine Authenticity. I love her so much. When I saw this card, after I said Leo Skepi, I thought of her, but then I didn't know if that was just me listing my podcast or if I needed to tell you. But then when I saw this, it made me think of her again. Because in one of her podcasts, she said that her favorite way to do a breathing technique is however long you breathe in, breathe out for 2 seconds more, because doing that repeatedly genuinely immediately will relax you. So now when I'm doing deep breathing exercises, if I breathe in for 3 seconds, I breathe out for 5. If I breathe in for 5 seconds, I breathe out for 7, right? Because I don't know, something about breathing out for longer just like it completely relaxes you. So that could be helpful for you too. On the back of the deck, we have Take a Bubble Bath. Again, very Taurus. What's her name? Chloe Taylor is also a Taurus. So yeah. Okay, pile 2. I am going to be leaving your reading here. Thank you so much for watching this reading and for allowing me to channel this message for you. If this resonated and you would like to show your support, I would appreciate if you could like this video, leave a comment down below telling me how it resonated, or subscribing to my channel. I hope that this brought you some kind of guidance or clarity, and I hope that you can bring and feel more happiness in your life soon. So thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you again here soon. Goodbye. Hi there, pile 3. If you chose the Cosmic Slumber Tarot, then this is going to be your reading about what is blocking you from your happiness. So I first want to say thank you so much for joining me here in this space. I really hope that this reading brings you clarity and guidance and hopefully some kind of comfort as well. I think this reading is really important because we all deserve to feel happiness and joy in our lives, because there's so much negativity and bitterness out there in the world, and I hope that this brings you something good for your beautiful, beautiful heart. So, pile 3, what is blocking you from your happiness? I don't know why, but mangoes are popping up into my mind. I don't know if you're eating mangoes or if that's your favorite fruit or something, but that just popped in my mind. Okay, so let's see. Pile 3, what is blocking you from your happiness? What is blocking pile 3 from their happiness, Spirit? The song, okay, there's an unreleased song by Ariana Grande that I listened to earlier, but honestly, I listened to so many, I was on a long walk and I was listening to a lot of songs, and this was a song I only listened to once, but for some reason it's stuck in my head, and it's called Clarity. Sorry, Ariana, or her team, if by any chance you're watching this. I know it's an unreleased song, but to be fair, it is so good. So I just had to say it. But the song Clarity by her, if you've heard it or if you want to look it up, it is stuck in my head and it might be significant for you. So we have the 7 of Swords. What is blocking pile 3 from their happiness, Spirit? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. What is blocking pile 3 from their happiness, Spirit? What is blocking pile 3? Prince of Swords. This is the Knight of Swords. Okay, I'm not taking those. What is blocking pile 3 from their happiness? 4 of Swords. A lot of air energy here. King of Cups. Okay. Water. What is blocking pile 3 from their happiness? 4 of Cups. Okay, so air and water. That's it. That's all we're seeing here. So that could be significant to you. Maybe you're someone who has a lot of air and water placements, and that's kind of it. Air would be Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius, and water would be Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. But you don't have to have those placements, though. Aren't these cards so beautiful? Also so colorful. So pretty. So, okay, for your oracles, we have number 31, intention. Lacking personal direction begets confusion, and life is a pawn to someone else's game of chess. We have time to rest a while. I can't read, apparently. We have financial constraints. 13 and 31. Interesting. We also have 2 4s. We have get grounded, empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. No, that needs to go here. Okay. We also have rejection. Oh my God. Wow. 2 13s. Oh wow. And 13 adds up to a 4. So a lot of 4s here then as well. And we have Violet Duchess, stifled, bored, and stuck. That actually is very similar to the 4 of Cups in its meaning. But I kind of want to put this here. I don't know. That feels like it's supposed to go there. So I'm going to put it right next to that 4 of Cups. Okay. So what is blocking pile 3 from their happiness? So for some of you, this won't be for all of you, but for some, you might spend a lot of money on clothes. Like, you might shop a lot, especially online shopping, not because you actually want the things you're buying. Well, you probably want them to some degree, but I think you might shop as a distraction. It's kind of like, oh, look at all these new things I'm getting. It brings you like dopamine and happiness and excitement for a second, and then it all goes away. You might also have this kind of relationship with food, with social media, with people, where you consume a lot because internally you're kind of dysregulated, feeling very jumbled, and you try to find something that's going to bring you happiness or like excitement, and then you numb out again. It's like you want to feel, you want your whole body, your whole mind, everything to be absorbed with like the excitement, and then once that excitement leaves, you're like, okay, now what? I think at your core though, you're actually just exhausted. Like, I think you're really tired, and you might not realize it because of all the things that you kind of distract yourself with, but also because maybe when you're alone, your mind races a lot, and you're always thinking of the next thing you can do to make yourself feel happy, to make yourself feel something at all. So you might not realize just how exhausted you are, but you are really tired. And I think it's because I feel like some part of you is just trying to make meaning out of your life, but you're doing it in a way that's actually sabotaging you more. So for example, by spending all this money, you end up creating financial stress because you don't have as much money now to spend toward what you actually need. By spending so much time on social media, you're feeding your mind with all this information that you don't really care about that much, and you're losing time that you could be putting toward other endeavors. I feel like you're creatively kind of out of whack right now. You might be someone who is quite creative. Like, you might literally love the arts specifically. But again, I think that you're just exhausted and tired. And part of what is like at the core of what's blocking your happiness is the fact that the way you're living your life is not aligned with your true purpose. And what your purpose is, honestly, it's so hard to figure out sometimes, but I think it's because purpose, first of all, it kind of changes throughout your life. Your true life's purpose will look different when you're a kid versus when you're an adolescent, a teenager. Well, I guess teenager is adolescent. A young adult, adult, senior citizen. Like, I think it all kind of changes with you and changes based on your experience. But at your core, you're still not living in alignment with what your purpose is at the time that you're finding this reading. And part of it's because you don't know what your purpose is. Another word I would substitute for purpose in this reading would also be your goals, your aspirations, what you really want out of life, your dreams. It's like you're emotionally asleep and you're letting your mind run the show, but your mind is quite anxious and quite distracted. And so you're just doing a bunch of things, filling up your time and your brain with all this random stuff that's not actually truly motivating you, truly bringing you joy. Some of you could also be very in need of sleep. We have this card that talks about rest. We have this card, get grounded. Their eyes are closed in 3 of these images. And then we have the cosmic slumber tarot, which is about like sleep as well. So you could be feeling exhausted. You might spend a lot of time up late at night. The 13th could be significant, or the number 13. Taylor Swift could also be significant because I think she said her lucky number 13, and I mentioned her in the past reading too. Oh my, sorry. So maybe that's a significant number. But I think you really need to consider what it is that you value. Like, what do you genuinely value? Because if you value being financially responsible, then something in your life needs to change with your relationship to money. If you value freedom, then are you truly free, or are you feeling enslaved to your fears, to your impulses? Do you value the way you feel? If so, how do you react and respond when you're feeling an uncomfortable feeling? Do you let yourself feel that and comfort yourself, or do you distract yourself? I feel like you're somebody who might set goals for yourself, but you very quickly break those promises you make, because I don't think that you're actually focused and actually putting your intention into it when you make these goals. I feel like you tell yourself, like, for example, you know how like in the middle of the night, or not, like, yeah, in the middle of the night or right before you go to bed, sometimes we get that burst of inspiration and we say, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to wake up, I'm going to do this and this, I'm going to get up early, I'm going to work out, I'm going to go for a walk. And then you wake up the next morning and all of a sudden you don't want to do any of that. And I think it's because You know, part of this actually could be you're putting a lot of your hope into the future. I don't think you're actually very present. And I see that here now with Get Grounded. I don't think you're present in the moment. Whenever you, because I think if you were to be more present, you would realize just how much discomfort exists within you. It could also be that your home, your physical home, the people you live with could be causing you a lot of stress too. But I think that you're not truly present in the present moment. You're always thinking about what's going to happen next. Oh my gosh, like my package is going to arrive tomorrow. I'm so excited. Or oh my gosh, like tomorrow I'm going to start my diet, or next week I'm going to start working out. And being excited about the future is awesome because it makes you optimistic, it makes you hopeful. But if you're never considering the present moment, there's a problem there, because the future eventually will be the present moment. Your package that's arriving tomorrow, tomorrow it'll be tomorrow. You know, it's going to be tomorrow eventually. How are you going to feel when you get that package? How are you going to feel when it's actually time for you to start working out? I don't think you consider these things because the present moment is too painful for you to deal with. I feel like when you have these plans, or when you put things into the future, it makes you feel like you have control because you're predicting what's going to happen in your life, because you're like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to do that, or next week I'm going to start that. But then when it actually comes time for you to do that thing, you don't do it. I also feel like you're probably like, you might feel a lot of defensiveness about this part of yourself. You don't want to admit that you're kind of just moving aimlessly through your life right now, because I feel like this is how you feel safe, is by creating this excitement for the future. But I think that if you just took some time alone, maybe like an hour a day, or just like when whatever the time looks like for you, it'll be different. It doesn't have to be an hour, but I think if you took some time to really reflect on how you're feeling internally, why is it that you make plans for yourself in the future, but you never decide to start in this moment? Why is it that whenever you feel an uncomfortable feeling, you go on Amazon and you're looking up what to buy next? Why is it that you spend all this money even though you keep telling yourself you want to save money? Why is it that you do these things? What is your motivation? Are you happy with the result of this? Because if you're not happy, then something needs to change. And clearly you're not happy, because this is what's blocking your happiness. And this is something you're experiencing every single day. You have this energy of like, I'm bored, I'm not happy, let me just do all these things to distract myself. And I think if you switched your perspective and you saw what was really happening here, it would liberate you. Because at my core, what I think for you is that you are rejecting yourself. I think you're rejecting your own dreams, you're rejecting your own heart, you're rejecting your being, because your feelings are a part of you. When you reject one part of you, that is a problematic situation. And in the book for this card, it talks about how you want to look at your life as a pizza, kind of. We don't have to do this, but I think it's fun. Think about your life like a pizza. And like each slice represents a different area of your life. It could represent a different being, a different part of your being. So if you want to think about like the spiritual part, the mental, emotional, physical. But I'm thinking in my head about the pizza. Like imagine if somebody brought you a pizza, like you ordered it on DoorDash or something, or you ordered it online. The pizza gets delivered to your front door. You open the box and there's a slice missing. You'd be pissed. You'd be like, what the hell is this? Where's the other slice? The same is true with you. If you're ignoring a part of yourself, you're not really complete. And here's the thing, like integrating all parts of yourself and being the most authentic version of you is like really idealistic and can be difficult to do, but you just want to try your best every day. If you feel mad, or if you feel angry, or if you feel uncomfortable or bored, simply identifying that is enough. Just simply saying, I feel really bored right now, or I feel irritated, I feel pissed. You can journal about that. You can just think about it. You can ask yourself some more questions, like, because I feel like that would bring you a lot more peace and serenity than simply trying to distract yourself or block out those feelings, because you're numbed out right now and you're such a feely person. Like you might have a water moon, or you in general could just be very sensitive and very deeply emotional. So when you do feel an emotion, it might seem like it's easier to just ignore it than to look into it deeper. But I think if you were to look into it deeper, it would actually really liberate you, like really, really help you free yourself from these habits that you have that work against your goals. Because you are definitely like a creative person for sure. And I think if you sat down and you, especially if you wrote out or if you talked out loud about what it is that's bothering you, you would gain a lot of clarity. Like I think you have a gift when it comes to speaking, and you have a gift when it comes to expressing yourself. But unfortunately, you're choosing the easy way out, but the easy way out is only a temporary fix. The more difficult path is the one that will uproot your issues, but it'll be more painful in that moment, but it'll result in a much longer term shift in your life. And perhaps like you can start with just learning how to sit in your emotions. Like the next time you feel like going on a shopping spree because you're upset at something or because you're feeling bored or irritated, maybe tell yourself like, you know what, why don't we just go take a shower? Or why don't we just go for a walk and just be present? Or maybe meditate, right? But I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this collective might hate meditating because it's too still, it's too quiet. You might prefer to be stimulated more. So it might be helpful for you to like maybe go to a garden where there's a lot of different kinds of flowers. Maybe there's a stream so you can hear a lot of things, you can see a lot of things, touch a lot of things. Maybe it might help to maybe take a shower, but like do a lot of things while you're in there, like maybe use a body scrub, and then, or maybe like, what, you know how you can like do different things in the shower with different textures, and so it's like more sense, there's more senses. Like you could be a very sensual person, because essentially like it's okay to want to distract yourself sometimes, right? Like sometimes life is just trash and we want to just like get lost in a movie or get lost in the mall. Like, you know what I mean? That's okay sometimes, but if it's happening constantly, eventually you'll get to a place where you just feel unsafe in your own internal world. And that's not a fun place to be at, because you're not only distracting yourself from the pain that you're feeling, but you're also distracting yourself from the way to feel more joy, feel more peace. You're only feeling stuck and bored and numbed out because you're doing things to make you feel bored and stuck and numbed out. You have a very rich imagination, a very rich inner world. And I think if you really delved into that, you would see like, oh yeah, I'll never be bored again because I'm so interesting. I have so much going on in my mind, so many things I want to do. And you can fill your schedule with the most things in the world. It's totally fine to be a busy person and to have a lot to do, but just make sure you're not doing that from a place of distraction. Do it from a place of like, I'm creative and I want to see the world. I want to explore myself. I want to explore my surroundings. Not from a place of, I'm freaked out, I'm scared, I don't want to feel, let me just distract myself so I don't have to deal with what's going on internally. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Really take some time to reflect. Take some time to see what kind of life are you living right now, and is your current reality simply just the consequences of your past actions? And if that is the case, then now you know that the way you're currently living your life you'll have the like even worse consequences or the same consequences in the future. The same way that you like to control your life by having something in the future to look forward to, the consequences of your present actions are in the future too. Remember that. Okay? Because that can help you change your present actions so you can have a more desirable future for yourself. With love. I know that probably, I felt kind of like like I'm calling you out, but I see this with love because you deserve to express this beautiful, creative self, and you deserve to feel stimulated and excited by life, but not from the place that it's currently coming from, which is like fear and wanting to distract yourself constantly. Okay. So now we're going to look at some self-care practices that might be useful for you to bring you more peace and happiness in this moment. So, Spirit, what would you recommend for pile 3? What would bring pile 3 some more happiness, some more peace in their current life? So, listen to how you speak to yourself. Use kind words. Yeah, you might have a very aggressive, snappy way you speak to yourself, and it's probably like on autopilot. You don't even realize it, but I think you speak to yourself really poorly. What else? What else, Spirit? What would you recommend for pile 3 to bring more happiness and peace, oh my, into their life? What else would you recommend to pile 3? Allow yourself to be imperfect. Practice self-compassion. Wow, yeah. I love this. What else would you recommend to pile 3 to bring more happiness and peace into their life, Spirit? So much green. Do a body scan. Check in to see how each part of your body feels. Yeah, you know what? You might find that your discomfort sits in certain areas of your body. So yeah, I'm going to say 2 things. For one, when you're feeling a negative emotion that you don't like boredom, irritation, anger, notice where you feel it. Is it in your hands? Is it in your feet, your brain? Is it in your gut, your heart, your legs? Notice where you feel it. It could be multiple places. It could be your whole body, right? And maybe it's not even around you, or maybe it's not in your body. Maybe it's like a suffocating feeling you feel, right? And also, when you do this thing to distract yourself, where do you feel it? Is it like, do you feel tingles on your body? Is it in your heart? Is it in your mind? Like, where do you feel the excitement or the joy? pay attention to that, because you might find, I think what you find will be interesting. Because imagine like when you feel frustration, if you feel the frustration in your gut, but then when you do the thing to bring you excitement, you feel it in your, I don't know, in your face, you know, that's interesting. But if you felt both feelings in the same place, that would be something interesting too. So it's kind of like, I think you'll make meaning of it the way that you need to, because it's not really my experience. So I think like you'll know what it means for you when you look into it and when you pay attention. But I think that would actually be really helpful to help you get in touch with yourself and with your feelings. What else, Spirit? Oh gosh, what else would you recommend for pile 3 so they can be more in touch with themselves and to feel more happiness? Join a friend doing their favorite hobby and find out why they enjoy it. Oh, this I recommend so strongly. So strongly. Because I think if you talked to a friend, someone that you love, and you went to go play basketball with them and you ask them, why do you like basketball? They might tell you, oh my gosh, it makes me feel so free. I really love to express myself. Like it's so fun. And you might be sitting there thinking like, what the hell? If I were to go work out, it's because I feel completely different feelings. Like I'm not doing this to bring me joy. Maybe you're doing it almost as a punishment perhaps, or maybe you're doing it to distract yourself. Like it'll be interesting to see different people's motivations, and it could show you something about yourself. Maybe how you react to their statement could also show you something, right? Everything is a mirror. So pay attention to how you feel, what's going on internally. We also have take a walk in nature, notice the sound and feel of each step. Yes, maybe this will be really helpful for you. I like taking walks in nature too. And I do think you're someone who needs to be stimulated a lot, and being stimulated by nature is something we don't really think of doing. A lot of the times we're overstimulated by, like if you're at the mall, for example, there's all the stores, all the different colors, all the different sounds, everybody's talking and blah, blah, blah. If you live in a city, it's all the lights from the buildings and the sounds of cars. But when you're in nature, it's like birds chirping. And sometimes you can hear the buzzing of little bumblebees, or maybe like you can smell the different kinds of flowers. Like roses smell different than jasmine, or maybe you smell like the fresh water. Whatever it is that you're smelling, that you're seeing, that you're feeling, you feel the heat from the sun, but also like the coolness of a breeze. It's very interesting, and it's a different sensation. Or like the crunchiness of leaves when it's the fall time. Maybe it's fall where you live. Yeah, I think this will be really helpful for you. On the back of the deck, we have make a list of 3 things that worry you, but that you realize you cannot control. This will also probably be very helpful because perhaps you're trying to distract yourself from things that you can't control anyway. And being able to relinquish control is such a challenging thing, but such a blessing and a gift once you finally understand what it means for you, and the different ways that you can release control. Like it literally frees up so much time and mental energy, because there's no point in trying to fix or control something that you can't fix. It's like trying to move Mount Everest. You know damn well you can't do it. So spending all your time trying to do it is just like goofy, because you know it's not going to happen. That's a really trashy example, because no one here is trying to move Mount Everest. But if you're trying to, I guess it'll be different. Like the things that we can't control there are usually more practical examples in our real life, right? But just make a list of the 3 things. Try this. I think it could be really helpful. So pile 3, that is your reading, and I'm going to be leaving this here. So thank you so much for watching this reading, and I hope that you gained some clarity, guidance, love, comfort from this reading, and I hope that it illuminated something for you so that you'll be able to create more happiness and joy in your own life. What is this card? Light a scented candle. Notice and enjoy the scent. I don't know. I felt like I wanted to grab it. It was yellow, and I was like, we need something else. Okay. So yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I really hope that this resonated with you in some way. If you enjoyed this reading and you would like to support me and my channel, I would love and appreciate if you could leave a like on this video, leave a comment down below telling me how it resonated, or subscribing to my channel if you want to see more readings from me in the future. So yeah, thank you again, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And if you're watching this at night, which you might be, honestly, with all this slumber energy here, have a wonderful, beautiful night, and I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and I hope to see you again here soon. Bye!